their preliminary round. So Nicholas Cahoon-Denvers from the Hilly and Polo Association throws the ball in, and it's taken there eventually out of the ruck by John Fisher, who plays a backhand shot now and drops it down right on the boards. Coming back hard there, Guillermo Torreira for Argentina, for Hong Kong. And now coming around the corner with it, just tucks it under the neck, brings it in towards the goal. He's wonderful with the stick here. John Paul Clarkin comes in, and unfortunately John Paul Clarkin's backhand shot has put it through the goal. So New Zealand, John Paul there in the perfect defence. Just watch here. Oh no, it was actually Torreira got a stick to the ball. I thought it might have been John Paul, so I take that back. But Torreira, as I said, wonderful stick man, and able to lean out and just tap that backhand through. So a big plus for Hong Kong now. They've scored the first goal, but New Zealand not going to waste any time. They bash the ball back up into the attacking half, but it's turned around there now. Heading for is John Paul Clarkin. And Inchaspe comes in to take him off the ball, but Clarkin gets a little near side shot in. He's now got time to just tap the ball forward. Now he leaves it for Kit Brooks, who's come back from the one position to cover for JP, and he'll bring the ball up towards the halfway. John Fisher just waiting for him to come through. He stops, feints, hits the ball. John Fisher's read that nicely. He'll get a backhand now into centre field. Well, he doesn't quite get into centre field. He runs it down the boards. But that's okay, because Torreira is there to take the ball in for Argentina. In comes Glenn Sheriff. His backhand puts it back onto the boards. Now, John Paul Clarkin picking the ball up. Backhand shot by Inchaspe, and the umpire blows the whistle. Now, the rules of polo are quite simple. They're there to ensure the safety of players and horses as far as possible, and the player travelling closest to the line of the ball has a right of way. Any player coming in at an angle or into that right of way that may infringe or intimidate the player travelling along the line, that's a foul and a penalty is awarded. In this case, it's been put on the halfway line for a halfway penalty shot, and it's taken by John Paul Clarkin for New Zealand. Now, he'll just try and bring the ball down a bit closer to goal here, and Inchaspe is going to make him work very hard for it, and finally gets a near side shot. It takes the ball away for Hong Kong, and it's backed down there by Kit Brooks. Kit Brooks' shot takes it across the field. In comes Torreira now. Torreira just trying to clean the ball up in the ruck. Brings it around the back, then plays a cut backhand shot high in the air, drops it down onto about the halfway line. Kit Brooks is there to take the ball forward for New Zealand once again. Now, John Fisher in defence for Hong Kong. Hits a backhand shot, trapped there by Inchaspe. Takes it up to Torreira. Goes around the corner with it, brings it up the boards. He's hooked out of the next play. It's quite legal for an opposing player to put his stick in the way, as long as it's below shoulder height. Backed out there by John Fisher, takes it across the centre of the field. In comes Kit Brooks now. He's turned on the ball, but he's taken out of the way there by Torreira. Torreira's backhand shot up to John Paul Clarkin. His backhand shot in towards goal, trapped there by John Fisher. In comes Inchaspe now, and he just brings the ball forward. John Fisher coming in, taps the ball back for Torreira. Nice little team play there by John Fisher. And Torreira's out there on his own for a little while, and that gives him time to take control of the ball. Takes it across to the boards. Inchaspe's there to pick up the pass. And he's working hard there. John Fisher coming out of the ruck with the ball for China. Feints, then hits it, picks it up on the volley. Now backhand there by Glenn Sheriff. Out towards the boards. Not a lot of length on it. In comes Inchaspe, but picked up by Kit Brooks. He plays it across, looking for his number 3, John Paul Clarkin. Doesn't quite get to him. John Fisher will be next. A bit of messy play there. Inchaspe comes in. Backhand shot by Inchaspe. Down, straight down, but picked up by John Fisher. He puts the ball high in the air into the scoring zone. That's looking pretty good. That'll go through the goal. No, great save there by John Paul Clarkin. Just on the line, he cleaned the ball up. It could have only been inches short of the line. And we're going to see a penalty shot, I think. Umpires have blown the whistle. Just watch this replay here. The ball's on the line. Oh, and Clarkin just manages to get a stick to that ball and bring it out. So the umpires, Jason Dixon and Campbell McNabb from Jason Dixon from England, Campbell McNabb from South Africa, and they've awarded a penalty to New Zealand, but the The Hong Kong team have taken possession of the ball once again, and bringing it across now is Guillermo Torreira. Torreira shot up to Inchaspe. Inchaspe runs it round behind a couple of ponies up towards the goal. Now, who's there? Torreira. Torreira can't get hold of it. It's picked up by Kit Brooks. Brooks takes it over towards the sideline, backed in there by Inchaspe, hits a pony. John Fisher comes around now, swings the stick over. John Paul Clarkin reads that beautifully, banks it onto a new line. In comes Inchaspe, plays a little near side shot, picked up there by Kit Brooks. And Guillermo Torreira, you see him there on screen. He's got a smile on his face because he knew he had that line, and he was hoping that he had the stick in the air. So a penalty will go to Hong Kong, China, and it's being taken down to the, now here it is, here's the shot. You see Kit Brooks leaning out across there, and that's straight in front of Torreira, who was riding down the line. So that's a penalty. He's infringed, come across into the right of way, and Hong Kong, who are leading by 1-0, will get the penalty, and it's an undefended open goal penalty. In other words, the 20 yards out from the, bit under 20 metres out from the back line. The Hong Kong player gets a free hit at the ball, and the defending side, New Zealand, are not able to come out through the goal mouth or stand in the goal mouth. So Guillermo Torreira taps the ball forward. That'll be the second goal for Hong Kong. It hits a divot on the snow, but still bounces up and over the line. So Hong Kong push their lead out to 2 goals now, 2-0, so a bit of pressure on New Zealand. They'd like to get a goal in this first chucker, and there's 1 minute and 10 seconds left to do it. In comes Inchaspe, a little backhand shot. John Paul Clarkin turns the pony, brings it on the near side now to try and give him clean air, but it's picked up by Inchaspe. Following through now Torreira. Torreira takes the ball onto about 40 yards out, but it's backed by John Paul Clarkin, but Fisher drives the ball down the centre line. Plenty of black shirts back there in defence. John Paul Clarkin hits it across now for Glenn Sheriff. Sheriff's got the angled shot from here, but he's got time to come in. In comes Kit Brooks. Brooks is there with Torreira. Torreira waits for Brooks to hit the ball, tries to get the pony in the way, but Glenn Sheriff's picked up the pass here. John Paul Clarkin there, he'll just take the ball forward, looks to see where Torreira's coming from, plays it on the stick side, 30 seconds left in the chucker. John Paul Clarkin brings it down to the scoring zone, now picked up here by Torreira. Torreira's backhandle, bang it out towards the boards. He's looking now to play down the last 20 seconds. Glenn Sheriff into centre field. John Paul Clarkin's going to pick that up. He's got time now to bring it to goal. Yes, he has. Tries to drive it forward. Inchaspe gets his pony in the way. Drives the ball out towards the sideline. No umpire's whistle. Oh, yes, there is. Inchaspe, no, it wasn't. So Inchaspe drives it in towards centre field. And thought I heard a whistle there, but there wasn't. So that's the end of the first chucker. Hong Kong pretty happy with their performance. They've scored 2 goals. New Zealand yet to get it down into any real scoring position. So interesting situation. I think a lot of people thought that New Zealand would be very, very strong in this game, but Hong Kong have proved to be the dominant team in this first chucker, and they'll go into the second with a 2-goal lead. Our players back on the field to start the second chucker of this 4-chucker match for the semi-finals of the World Cup Snow Polo 2013, and umpire Jason Dixon down there ready to throw the ball in. The players will change ends as they do after each chucker finishes, and he puts the ball in. It's backed out by, taken forward by John Fisher. He's going the other way this time, and finally trapped by John Paul Clarkin. Umpires blow the whistle. Right over on the other side we have Campbell McNabb. The reason we have 2 umpires on the field is they essentially view the polo from 2 different directions, and they're able to judge then the angles the players are approaching the ball from 2 points of view. And in the case where one umpire may not see a foul, if the other one does, they'll discuss it. If they're not able to agree, then we have in the stands a referee. Today it is JJ Diaz-Alberti from Argentina. He's looking from about the same height your cameras are looking down on the field, so he sees it from a perspective a little bit higher. So between them, they can always decide whether a foul has occurred and therefore whether a penalty should be awarded. In this case, the Hong Kong team has been awarded a defended goal penalty. So it comes 30 yards, or roughly 30 metres out from the back line. It's placed on the mark, and the defending side is able to put a man in the goal mouth. So in many cases, the player taking the penalty hit will try and put it in the air over the head of the defending player. But with this ball here, it's been very difficult to score goals. Guillermo Torreira comes in, takes the shot. He's put it high in the air, and he's done what most of them do, and that's put left-hand spin on the ball, and that takes it out to the right-hand side. So no score results. It remains 2-0. So the penalty, a let off there for New Zealand. So J.P. Clarkin doesn't waste any time bringing the ball through now, and he's run right through the ruck, and he's run it down towards the goal. And here's a great reply from New Zealand. Oh, just knocks it off the line. Glenn Sheriff coming through, can't pick it up. Picked up by John Fisher, takes it away now, and he's got Hong Kong on the attack. Up they go towards the halfway line. In comes Kit Brooks, try and stop from the ball, but Fisher's taken it out to the right-hand side. He'll just come through now and play the ball under the pony's feet. It goes into centre field. And Charles Bay's out there to try and trap the ball for Hong Kong. He does so, and unfortunately Glenn Sheriff's pony trips a little there coming through. So he lost a little bit of momentum, and then Charles Bay will put it through. And so they've replied to that failed penalty in the most positive way by scoring their third goal. Bad luck for New Zealand there, because John Paul Clarkin got it right down into the scoring zone, and then just the ball running off to the left a little. So he'll come back into the play again. He'll waste no time now. They know they've got to score the next goal to be in this. And it's turned around there by Guillermo Torreira, picked up by John Paul Clarkin. Clarkin drops the ball down for another little shot. Now he's bringing it around the corner. He's got nobody up front though. And the ball bounces high and goes across to the boards now, picked up by Kit Brooks. Brooks' shot hits John Fisher's pony, and Glenn Sheriff has to come through. Fisher feels that on the back and says, I'll hit it forward now, and look at Inchaspe. Matan Inchaspe running hard for Hong Kong. In comes Fisher. In comes Kid Brooks. Kid Brooks shot around, and John Paul Clarkin's read that beautifully. He's picked up the pass, takes it out to the sideline now. Torreira coming in defence. Cuts the ball along the boards. It's bounced out in front of John Paul. He's hooked out of the play there by Fisher, but John Paul Clarkin drives the ball in towards the goal mouth now. Goes on the near side. He's got a difficult shot for goal from here. Fisher gets it. No, he doesn't. Torreira gets one. Glenn Sheriff comes through. Can't put it through the goal. Banged out of the way there by Johnny Fisher. Picked up by John Paul Clarkin. Takes it in towards the goal. Brooks is there. Now finally Torreira. Torreira brings the ball forward. Torreira taps it now. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher waiting. Now banged forward there by Inchaspe. Up to the halfway line. Torreira on the end of the pass. Brings the ball forward. Just fainting a little there. Now he comes through. And John Paul Clarkin has to go with him. But Torreira's stolen a couple of lengths on them here. He'll run the ball down towards the goal. Difficult shot from here, but he's done that. No, he hasn't. It's not long enough, and it's backed out there by Kit Brooks, saving the day for New Zealand. Glenn Sheriff coming through. Can't quite get the shot that he wanted there, so finally it's Torreira coming in again, but now Glenn Sheriff comes in, steals the ball off him. John Fisher taps it forward, backhand by Torreira. Torreira's shot is chased by Inchaspe, but Kit Brooks is there. Inchaspe cuts the ball. He's put too much angle on it. No, it's just sneaked inside the post. And so I thought that might have been just a little bit too much angle, but a great goal there from Martin Inchaspe. So it's 4-0 in favour of Hong Kong. And now John Paul Clarkin, desperate stuff for New Zealand here. Now they need to bring the ball around, but it's backed in there by Inchaspe once again, and John Paul Clarkin gets a big turn out of the pony. Bringing it forward, under the neck, runs it across to the boards, bounces out once again. In comes Torreira. Torreira makes him work for the ball and gets the near side shot in. Inchaspe waiting for Glenn Sheriff to come in now. He'll just turn inside him. Sheriff can't get to the ball, so John Paul Clarkin has to come in and take it. Under the, well, no, not under the neck. He runs it down the boards again. Now it's under the neck, but he hasn't quite got enough angle on that one. It goes behind. And so New Zealand finally mounting an attack, but not able to bring it up to the real scoring area. Hard to hit goals from out the back. This ball is not like a normal polo ball, which is much, well, about half the size of that and solid. whereas this is an inflated ball like a miniature soccer ball. So it's difficult to get real power in some of your shots. And the ball, of course, once it goes any distance, tends to drift off the line. Anyway, the ball's caught in a divot there. Umpire's looking to see umpire Jason Dixon blowing the whistle. And I think he said that New Zealand had more right to be playing that ball than Hong Kong, so a penalty will go to New Zealand. And this, I think, is probably their first real scoring chance. They're trailing by 4-0. There's a minute and 24 seconds left in the chukker. These are 6-minute chukkers here in snow polo because it's quite demanding on horses, so we don't ask them to work any harder than they have to. Normally on the outside field we play 7.5 minutes. So Glenn Sheriff just placing the ball there, trying to make sure it's not caught up in one of these divots in the snow. And who's going to take this? John Paul Clarkin has gone off and got a fresh horse. He was riding a horse before called a Roxy Chick. Anyway, it's Glenn Sheriff who's going to take the hit, and he pops it through the centre. That's a nice conversion by Glenn Sheriff. So, he'll be happy with that. That's got New Zealand into the game. Sometimes it takes you that so long to score the first goal, and then once you get it, you get a little bit of a confidence boost, and you can put another couple on the board pretty quickly. Anyway, it's John Fisher hits in now. It hits actually Martin Inchau's base pony, so it's going to be picked up here by Torreira. Torreira will now line up and try and get some distance on the ball. He hits it into the boards though, so Fisher comes in, tries to dig it out of the ruck, but it's John Paul Clarkin coming through now, and he's got it on the near side. New Zealand right on the attack once again. Who's left sitting there? Glenn Sheriff now turning up Inchau's bay. Fisher, there's a bit of a squeeze going on there. Kit Brooks hits a backhand shot, rolls it out to the left of the post. Glenn Sheriff's got a big angled shot from here, and that's going to be good enough. So New Zealand quickly back into this game with 2 quick goals as the first bell rings. So we've got 24 seconds left in the chukker. Hong Kong. Here we just see the replay now. You saw squeeze it out there, Glenn Sheriff. That's a fantastic goal, really. You see how far he had to lean out, and the ball just had enough length on it to roll through the post. So in the ball goes now. It's backhand there by Kit Brooks, heading up towards the goal. Torreira plays the backhand out towards the boards. They'll just try and keep this ball in play now because they don't want to get down the scoring area. And John Fisher with a cracking clearing shot. That's what you do when you're in the defensive end. Hit the ball as hard as you can in the other direction. So, interesting situation now. We were 2-0 at the end of the first. Okay, we're underway now with the third chukker of this 4-chukker semi-final. Hong Kong versus New Zealand. Hong Kong leading at the moment by 4-2, and this is Guillermo Torreira for Hong Kong, bringing the ball forward. Can't get the next shot in. Backed in there by Kit Brooks. It'll be picked up by John Paul Clarkin for New Zealand. His backhand shot puts it high in the air. Kit Brooks down to pick it up and take it out to the sideline. In comes Martin Inchau's now. He is squeezed up there, but finally it's Kit Brooks who plays the ball forward now. On the near side, it's taken by Glenn Sheriff, who tucks the ball under the ponies. But a pony kicks it back on the board, so it's going to be Guillermo Torreira putting the ball up to Martin Inchau's who brings it into centre field now, and he's got this little pony running hard to the ball. Straightens it up nicely, doesn't get the length on it he like, but John Fisher coming through, and he plays it, but he puts it to the left of centre, and it goes behind. So good attacking play by Hong Kong there, but not resulting in a goal. So, whistle's blown, so I'm just not sure whether they've called that for yeah, just taking time off there for umpire Jason Dixon to pick up a horseshoe on the field. That's quite dangerous, of course. If a horse is upside down, the horse treads on it. So it's taken by John Paul Clark and up to Glenn Sheriff on the boards now. He's got a cut shot in from here. New Zealand's finding a bit of motor now, and but finally it's in Chow Spay. Clears the ball for Hong Kong and takes it out to the boards. Now, Glenn Sheriff turning the ball in front there, but the umpire's not happy with that because Martin in Chow Spay was following on his own shot hard down the line. And we'll just wait and see what they say here. Looks like it's going to be a hit on the spot to Hong Kong. In Chow Spay there was the man riding down the line. And, Gemma Torreira taking the ball forward for Hong Kong now. Puts it high in the air, over the halfway line, in Chow Space there. Hooked out of the play there by Kid Brooks. Backhand by Glenn Sheriff. Plenty of length on that too. Torreira looks around, sees he's just on his own for a little while, so he'll cut the ball over to John Fisher. Lovely distance on that. John Fisher doesn't try and hit it too hard, just brings the ball forward now. Now he's looking to play the ball into centre field. In comes in Chow Space, picks up the ball there, but umpires have an opinion about that. I think both players thought they had a right to the ball there. And we'll just wait and see what they think. You see there, in Chow Space leaning out in front. Maybe they've said he leaned out in front of the New Zealand player coming through there, Kit Brooks, I think it was. And that's what they've decided. You can't play the stick in front of a horse's legs. That can trip them up. So a penalty, not a severe one, a penalty on the spot, but it gives New Zealand possession, and John Paul Clark will use that opportunity to take it up to halfway, and Glenn Sheriff driving through now, but the ball hits a pony. John Paul Clark reads it nicely. Kit Brooks sitting back there. He has to dig it out of a divot, so it goes high in the air. Can't get the next shot in, but it's going to be Glenn Sheriff coming in behind him. He'll play it forward for New Zealand now. Leaves it sitting there for John Paul Clark, and Clark will take it down towards goal. Just dribbling the ball forward now, keeping control of it, runs it in. That's another goal to New Zealand. And so they're right back into this now. Hong Kong 4, New Zealand 3. And at one stage, Hong Kong were leading 4-0. So New Zealand have played themselves right back into this. There's still 3 minutes, half a chukker here, and then we've got a fourth chukker to go. So Gemma Torreira will try and keep possession on this ball. Doesn't want to hit it away. Takes it along the boards. He hopes he'll get up there in time, but he gets a big bump from John Paul Clark, who taps a little backhand in. John Fisher drives the ball round. John Paul Clark reads that nicely. He'll get the backhand out and puts it out over the sideline, and look out there on the side. So they'll come back and see a throw in from the sideline. That's him there, John Paul Clark, and lovely defensive backhand. Slowed the play down. Umpire Campbell McNabb there to put the ball in. And gets caught amongst the first players, the number ones in the lineup. So Glenn Sheriff digs it out for New Zealand, goes under the neck, doesn't get the length he'd like. Kit Brooks drives it forward now. He's put it down into the scoring zone for Hong Kong, but that's given Glenn Sheriff a free hit at the ball, and he'll just come up on the boards there now. But going forward, it's in Chow Spay now. Backhand into centre field. Fisher on the end of the pass. Just drives the ball up now. He's got it on the stick side. John Paul Clark, and there. John Fisher's shot is a cracker. Will it have the legs? No, it won't. John Paul Clark back there. Plays the backhand. Saves the day for New Zealand. In comes Kid Brooks. He turns the ball around. Umpire's happy with it, so he's away now and clears. Gets New Zealand out of a heap of trouble. Another great save by John Paul Clark in Chow Spay, and Brooks riding hard to the ball. Next one is Torreira. Torreira shot across for John Fisher, but John Paul Clarken's there. Fisher gives him a bump, but Clarken still gets possession of it. Takes around the corner, can't get the next shot. Now, Kid Brooks in there. He'll go out within Chow Spay. John Fisher hooks him, hits a tap shot. Picked up by Sheriff, picked up by... Finally, it's Gemma Torreira. Torreira takes the ball down around on the right-hand side, picks it up in mid-air. John Paul Clark tries to swipe it out of the sky, but it's spinning there and waiting for him to turn around and take the next shot. Just goes in. Torreira gives him a big bump now, takes possession on the stick side, coming around the corner with it now, just trying to keep control. Plenty of red shirts back there. They're all riding on one another's back. Finally, Torreira comes around from the front, brings it up again. He's got nobody up in front. He'll have to take it down himself here. Goes around Glenn Sheriff. Can't get the stick side, though. Sheriff's got that. Plays the backhand onto the boards. John Fisher, the ball sits in a hole. Now, dug out there by John Paul Clarkin. Clarkin's shot up to Kit Brooks. Brooks trying to roll the ball along the sideline. Fisher squeezes him out of that. Now Torreira. Torreira comes around the corner. Torreira brings it into centre field. And he's got Inchouse Bay giving him a bit of a lead there. Little Chestnut Pony going hard. There goes the bell. That's 30 seconds left in this third chukker. Hong Kong still in the lead, 4-3. There goes Torreira's shot up to John Fisher. John Fisher takes it on the near side. Glenn Sheriff tries to return it. Doesn't get it out of the divot. Picked up there by Kit Brooks. Brooks' shot is dug out there by Torreira. Torreira's got the stick side now. He's got 10 seconds left. He'll cut the ball in here, and that's gone left, and that's a big sigh of relief from New Zealand. The time will run down, I think, before they get the hit in, and that will mean we go into the final chukker with Hong Kong still in the lead, building that very big lead to start with, and 4-3, the score with one chukker to go. So, interesting situation. New Zealand, the only ones to score in that chukker, and they've hit the last 3 goals, so Hong Kong really needs to score early. So New Zealand now got possession of the ball at the start of the 4th chukker, drive it down towards the back line, but it goes behind. So Hong Kong to hit in. Hong Kong leading 4-3, New Zealand mounting the first attack in this 4th chukker. They'll be really looking for an early goal here. So Torreira can't afford to give possession back to them. So he'll just try and dig this ball, bring it along, get it clear of the ruck. Oh, it hits a pony and bounces out. First one to this is going to be important. It's John Paul Clarkin. He puts it high in the air. It's gone to the right of centre. Little backhand there by John Fisher, picked out by Torreira. Torreira comes around the corner. Finally, it's Glenn Sheriff digs the ball out. The ball goes across the back line, but I think the whistle blew long before that. So John Fisher there just looking up to see it was the man, Glenn Sheriff, who took the ball through the goal. There you see. Coming around the corner there, that was Torreira. I think the umpires have said he shouldn't have been there, so although the ball went over the line, the whistle had certainly gone long before he played the shot. So it will be an undefended penalty, New Zealand. Now, Hong Kong under a hell of a lot of pressure here. When you start second chukker, when you start a second chukker 4 goals in front, and then by the end of the third, you still haven't scored again, and the opposing team has got within a goal, and they've now got an open goal, undefended penalty coming up. That means they've been doing the best for the last couple of chukkers. So Hong Kong really have to try and find an answer now to this strong New Zealand reply. John Paul Clarkin just walks in, brings the ball forward, runs it across the centre line. Oh, he just had enough legs on that. It was... anyway, it's gone through, so it's all square now in the 4th chukker. So pressure really on Hong Kong. They haven't been able to find an answer to this New Zealand team for about 2 chukkers, and they'll be looking. There's about 5 minutes left in the chukker, 4 minutes 48 in fact, and it will be interesting to see whether Hong Kong tries some different tactics here. They need to do something. They haven't been able to get a real scoring opportunity for some time. They've been having to hit the ball under pressure. It hasn't been going straight. And then giving away a penalty in front of goal. Desperation stuff. So the ball's sort of caught in the divot there. Players milling around, and I think the umpires are blowing the whistle, but I think what we'll see is a throw-in.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. It's a penalty to Hong Kong. So obviously, umpire Cam McNabb was right on the spot there. And he thought the Hong Kong player coming off the wall probably was still on the line when the black shirts came around the corner. So strong shot there by Torreira. Torreira's shot up to John Fisher. Fisher taps it forward now. Backhand by Glenn Sheriff. Gets a bit of distance on it too, and coming out of the ruck now, Kit Brooks. He seems to have been everywhere in these last couple of chuckers. Now back there by Inchauspe. Inchauspe's shot bounces off John Paul Clarken's pony, but Clarken coming in there now, and in comes Kit Brooks. Brooks brings it up, and here's New Zealand on the attack again. Brooks' shot does left for Torreira to clear for Hong Kong. Cuts the ball around now and straightens it up beautifully, and away goes Hong Kong. And Torreira, great stick man. He'll keep control of this if he can. Opportunities have for a while, but oh, just drifts up to the right. Cleared by Kit Brooks. Great defensive play by the young New Zealander. Bounces it off the boards. Leaves it for his captain, John Paul Clarken, but it's trapped there by Torreira once again. Torreira now has to get through a couple of black shirts. He's got a difficult shot from here, but it's good enough. And that'll be the 5th goal to Hong Kong. And he's a difficult man to stop when he gets those goals in his sight. And he's done a great job there to bring that down. And so John Paul Clarken will hit in now. Now the pressure back on Hong Kong, on New Zealand. Hong Kong out to the lead once again. If they can get another goal before New Zealand scores, that it's been difficult to score goals these last couple of chuckers, or not. So Torreira, backhand shot in towards the boards. Inchauspe can't get the pony turning quick enough, so Clarken's there. He'll take it forward now, just doesn't want to turned around nicely now. Fernie up is John Fisher. He'll go in and take Kit Brooks out of the way, and Fisher cleans the ball up, but it's going to be Glenn Sheriff. He's hooked out of the play by Torreira. Dug out there by Inchauspe. Oh, desperate stuff here. Now, Inchauspe's shot picked up there by Glenn Sheriff. Tries to bring it in towards the goal. He's still got it in play, but it's taken there by John Fisher. Fisher's shot now, and John Paul Clarken tries to straighten the ball up. Glenn Sheriff comes through. He'll get a bump. Oh, Sheriff's great shot. All square, 5 each. Great play by Glenn Sheriff. He got a massive bump from Torreira and still was able to get under the very, very strong Glenn Sheriff. And you need a lot. And bang, there it goes. Look at that, straight through the middle. And so now the pressure back on Hong Kong. If we're all square after 4, we will see a penalty shootout. So the ball's gone out over just inside the Hong Kong half. Having seen all the preliminary games, I knew this would be all these semi-finals are going to be tough and tight. There's been very little in this. The final game of the preliminaries was a penalty shootout, Australia versus Canada. And now we might see one here again. Out of the ruck it comes. Back goes Kit Brooks. Kit Brooks near side shot. And it's over towards the sideline, but Torreira's got this covered. And he'll play it off the boards. That'll give him a new line. Plays the backhand, but Sheriff gets his pony in the way. And Torreira can't come in there. Inchauspe can, though. His shot takes it out to the boards. It's going to be picked up by J.P. Clarken. And he just comes around the corner with it. Fisher tries to stop him. Picked up by Kit Brooks. Tapped there. Picked up now. It's Inchauspe. No, it's not. It's Torreira who's got the ball. But there's players coming in from everywhere there. And we'll see what the umpires think of that one. Difficult for me. It's at right angles to where I am, but I think the way Torreira's smiling, he probably thinks he had the right to come in there. So
Look at him with his glass of red wine.
what are the umpires saying? We've got 1 minute and 18 seconds left. This is the first semi-final of the 2013 Snow Polo World Cup. Umpire Campbell McNabb. So he's taking the ball out to the centre. So they've decided it wasn't actually a foul. Both players coming in with a reasonable angle. So the ball will be thrown in towards the sideline in a reasonably neutral spot where the penalty was thought to occur. Glenn Sheriff coming out of the ruck. Puts some stick down. Umpires blow the whistle. This time, I think they will agree. So coming out of the ruck, if the ball comes through the ruck, comes out on a line, you can't come off the back of the ruck at an angle. And so Martin Inchauspe, sorry, it's Guillermo Torreira just placing the ball there, teeing it up. Now, I think he's put it up on top of the ground. He'll probably go for a big hit from here. Yes, he does. Puts it high in the air and it drops down in front of Glenn Sheriff, who plays the backhand towards the sideline now. Then John Paul Clarkin turns it around. John Fisher coming through. He'll just play the ball forward now, try and get it out of harm's way and give himself a clean shot at the ball. Good play by John Fisher. He's taken it through, cleaned it up, and plays it forward now, just running it down, not trying to hit it too hard. Glenn Sheriff never gives up. He comes in. Fisher can't get the shot in. Backhand there by Kit Brooks. Hits a pony's feet. Inchow plays the next one to it. He runs it up in front of one of the New Zealand players, but John Paul Clarkin leans out and plays the near side shot. Well, again, they're milling around the ball. Those angles change so quickly in these tapping plays, and so John Paul Clarkin will go back nice and deep. That probably means he's going to try and get as much length as he can. He's got to do that because he's got 3/4 of the field to cover in 35 seconds. So he'll put it down as far as he possibly can and hope his players are going to be running on it. Well, he doesn't. Get me wrong, John. And now he puts some length on it, runs it down along the boards. There goes the first bell. There's 28 seconds left. Backed in there by Terrera. Picked up by John Fisher. Fisher goes to drive the ball downfield and stolen. Glenn Sheriff says, "You won't hit it, I will." And he takes it forward now. Backed in by Kit Brooks. Picked up there by Terrera. Terrera tries to bring the ball down to the goal. There's 11 seconds left. Terrera out of the saddle he comes now. He's bumped hard there by Kit Brooks. It turns up and Inchow Bay's horse has come down on him. So well, all the excitement in the world. And I think the horse has just winded there. He's just scrabbled down, so Martin Inchow Bay will get the saddle off to see if the horse can get its breath back. Thank you. Which I think you will agree is considerably unlikely. So we'll go to a penalty shootout from here, I'm betting, and it hasn't been easy. This is these penalty shots have been difficult here because hitting this ball out of the snow, particularly in the defended penalties, if you take it along the ground, there's a fair chance it'll be stopped. If you take it in the air, there's a big chance it'll spin, usually away to the right. Now, the ball goes right through the line out. Finally, the clock runs down, the siren goes, so we had to start it that way, but we will now go do the penalty shootout situation now. These players just shaking hands to finish the main game. Really tough, hard-fought game. Lots of fun. And lots of great polo in the game, but no difference between these two teams, even though Hong Kong managed to get out to a 4-goal lead. New Zealand found an answer to that, came back into the game very, very strongly, and eventually being able to equalise on 4-all. Hong Kong scored next, and then New Zealand replied. So at the end of 4 chukkers, it's 5 goals all, and we'll go back to the goal mouth down at the horse line's end. 6 penalty shots and only 1 member from each team from Canada and Australia was able to hit it through the goal. And then when it came down to the sudden death, Canada got their first shot through, and so Australia had to get theirs every shot through from then on until Canada may have missed. Anyway, it's going to be John Paul Clarkin coming up to take the first penalty hit, and he's successful from 30 yards out. So 1 point to New Zealand. So now it'll be Hong Kong. And it looks like Gemma Terrera, well, the 2 of their best hitters have decided to go first. So I think that probably is a lesson learned from yesterday's penalty shootout, where the strong players went last and it caused a problem. Terrera has hit it wide. Well, now one of the best hitters of a ball and penalty hitters we've seen for a long time, suddenly not able to just get it accurately enough. So as I said, it's very difficult to hit this softball accurately in a straight line. So there you saw on the replay, just going to the right-hand side of the post. So now, Glenn Sheriff for New Zealand. Comes in quietly. Leans over, doesn't try and hit it too hard, put it out to the right. So it's still New Zealand 1, Hong Kong yet to score. Glenn Sheriff's shot there. There you see on the replay, bang, and it swings out, as I said. If you try and put it high with this softball, I think we've probably seen 80–85% of those shots where they're hit in the air, spinning to the right. So John Fisher comes in. He's just going to trot in now. Let's keep the pony going. In he comes. Puts it through the middle. No, he's put it right. Goodness gracious, he'll put it up in the air too. So John Paul Clark, and the only one at this 12. So now if Kit Brooks can hit this through, New Zealand will win the game. Kit Brooks puts it in the air, and he puts it wide. Well, worst case for New Zealand is 1-1. Worst case for Hong Kong is 1-0. So 5 players have hit the ball. Only one, the first player to take a shot, John Paul Clarkin, has been successful. Talk about pressure. Martin Inchauspe soaking up the pressure now, comes in, brings the ball, plays it forward, and he's put it through. So we go to sudden death once again. It's just, well, it's a replay of yesterday. 6 players hitting the ball, only 2 putting it through the goal from the penalty, so it's 1-1 on the penalty shootout. So now the pressure really comes on, because even in that organised one, you're hoping one of your teammates will cover for you and get it through the goal. Now, if you miss, you're out. And New Zealand will go again. John Paul Clarkin, very professional player. Just mention now on the shootout, though, that the opposing team is allowed to put a player in the goal mouth. So there's a bit of a mental thing saying you've got to get it in the air. You can't hit it slowly along the ground. They're going to stop it. So it's Martin Inchauspe in the goal. John Paul Clarkin to take the hit, walks in, gets it high in the air, and it's through. It's through. So, and let's see, the umpires are there. They've made their decision. And both the umpires, I think, signalled it through. So John Paul Clarkin goes down into the goal mouth to defend against Kashima Terera's hit. Terera missed his shot earlier on. He's normally terribly accurate in these sort of plays. So John Paul Clarkin just in the goal mouth now, bringing his pony in. Terera scoops and clean. That one's through. So Terera equalises, so it's 1-1. Well, we saw the same situation yesterday with Australia and Canada, but unfortunately the Australian captain, Glenn Gilmore, had missed a shot, and Will Gilmore, his cousin, under pressure when Canada put their first sudden death shot to just drifted it wide of the right-hand post, and so Canada running out the winner. So now the pressure goes on to individuals, one by one by one. And it's now right on the shoulders of Glenn Sheriff. Kashima Terera in the goal. Glenn Sheriff hitting the ball for New Zealand. Missed his last shot. And he's missed this one too. And so that means that Hong Kong will go into the final. Well, it's a rotten way to lose, but so well, so John Fisher comes in now. I think it's 1-1. If he gets it through, that's a win. He hits it wide. So, I beg your pardon, it's not in terms of sudden death. That means it's 1-1 now. But now, Kit Brooks will hit for New Zealand. In the goal mouth, Martin Inchaspe. Kit Brooks for New Zealand. So we've had 2 misses here. So I was thinking that it was 1-0, but it's not. It was 1-1. So 2 players missing. Kit Brooks. What's he going to do with it? He goes wide, very wide. So, well, welcome to a polo shootout, Martin Inchaspe. Because if you're able to hit the ball through, you will put your team into the final of the Snow Polo 2013 to defend your 2012 title. If you miss, then we go to another sudden death hit-off. So, Martin Inchaspe, the number 2 for Hong Kong, coming in now to take this absolutely critical penalty hit. This can win the game for Hong Kong. He's put it wide. He's put it wide. Well, well, John Paul Clarkin can be proud of himself. He's the only one to hit 2 in a row. Bang, Inchaspe. And he was actually pointing the horse in that direction. It's strange. I think people are now so conscious of this ball going right. They're trying to find a way to correct their swing. He actually pointed the horse to the right to bring it across the front, but it still put that spin on the ball. So I think now we do it all again. So we'll keep doing this until we get a miss in the sequence. John Paul Clarkin. And he's gone wide this time, so he destroys his perfect record. So now if Gajema Terrera can put this one through, see John Paul Clarkin, and then he hit the first 2 absolutely spot on in the middle, but then even he has been guilty. 8 goals, doesn't make any difference. This is really tough. It's such a difficult thing to hit this inflated ball straight. And Gajema Terrera coming in, he's walking in very, very quietly. He's focused, he's got his eye on the ball, he puts it through the goal, and Hong Kong go into the final of the 2013 Snow Polo World Cup. So New Zealand, well, they'll be unbelievably disappointed. I know I went down to see the Australian team after they lost on a penalty shootout on Monday, and they were absolutely shattered. It's such an individual thing. Those who missed the goal will replay it in their minds for the next 24 hours. They'll dream about it tonight. But at the end of the day,